Hello, everyone. I'm Mehdaoui, and welcome back to What's New with ME. Today, we are digging into four big stories: the historic government shutdown, a president at a football game sweeping pardons, and media giants in crisis. We'll unpack what's happening, why it matters, how people are reacting, and what it means for you and for me. Let's jump in. When the lights go out on the federal switch, October 1st, 2025, the U.S. federal government entered a shutdown because Congress missed the funding deadlines for the fiscal year. This isn't just a political maneuver. Its effects are real and widespread. Roughly 900,000 federal employees are furloughed. Millions more are working without pay. Food aid programs have been delayed or reduced. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, is impacted. Air travel and other federal services are feeling strain. The Senate recently moved to advance a bill that would fund the government through January 2026, including a $3 billion appropriations package. What people are saying? Well, some Republicans argue the shutdown is forced on them by Democrats demanding extended health care subsidies tied to the Affordable Care Act, or ACA. Some Democrats are saying any funded bill without guaranteed of a health care subsidies is unacceptable. Independent analysts point to the economic costs. The Congressional Budget Office projects losses of $7 to $14 billion if the shutdown drags on. And there's different takes that are all neutral. Optimistic takes: the funding deal in the Senate means relief is coming. The worst may be behind us. Skepticals say it's a temporary fix. Many underlying disputes remain unsolved in unresolved healthcare and philosophy. The empathetic take: regardless of politics, hundreds of thousands of people are feeling the impact. Families, uncertain paychecks, delays, services that are disrupted. Congress sets a new record for budget limbo, longest shutdown ever, so maybe a gold medal is an indecision. The takeaway for you and me: if you depend on federal services like food aid, federal employment, or travel, this matters. If you're a creator, a communicator, or citizen paying taxes and expecting government to deliver, that expectation is being tested. That's your budget cliff update. Hold that thought, though. Next, a president at an NFL game when the sideline meet the spotlight. On November 9, 2025, Donald J. Trump attended the regular season game between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions in Maryland, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to attend a regular season NFL game since 1978. Highlights: there was a flyover of Air Force One, an appearance in the broadcast booth for part of the third quarter, and he left before the game ended. The crowd reactions were mixed. Notable boos when his image appeared on the video board. Reactions and commentary: some see it as a part of strategic optics move. Sports plus politics equal a broader stage. Others argue it muddies up the boundaries between politics and entertainment. A stadium visit becomes a campaign event, even if it's subtle. Sport commentators worry fans go to the game to escape politics. This blur may affect fans' experience. Empathy angles: for stadiums, attendees, and fans, what should be leisure might have felt like a political moment, even if it was not intended. Now, fan-centric takes: cool to see the president at the game, but did football take a backseat or a spectacle? The political take: this is a presidential branding in live motion, but ask, who is the target audience? Media analyst takes: crowd boost signal the polarized state of our national moment, even if it's in a stadium. My satirical take: breaking news. President goes to football game, audience respond like they saw him at a Starbucks. What it means? Sport, culture, and politics are more intertwined than ever. As someone building content myself, it means your commentary can explore those intersections. When does leisure become messaging? When does brand become politics? Onwards. Segment 3, a pardon for the allies, a clemency or consequences. In a major move, President Trump granted full pardons to dozens of individuals, including notable figures such as Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and Sidney Powell, all accused of participating in efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Some key details. These pardons apply to federal charges, not necessarily state-level cases, which may still proceed. The White House framed this action as correcting a grave national injustice and beginning a reconciliation. Again, commentaries and reactions are different. Some legal scholars say this is a precedent-altering use of a pardon power, especially when high-profile political allies are the beneficiaries. Others argue presidents have wide pardon power. This falls within the constitutional authority, but what matters is how it's perceived by the public and the justice systems. The empathy angle. For average Americans, tracking election integrity, rules of law, or the message sent by leadership, this moves from abstract to observable. And again, different takes. Supporters' angle. The president is righting wrongs. Justice delayed is still injustice. Critics, this signals that high-level participants in election subversion efforts can evade consequences. What does that say to that bar for the rest of us? Neutral or legal angle. While constitutional, the optics and timing raise questions about the balance between mercy and accountability. Satirical Ali, we're pardoning the plotters. Next, we'll be getting executive clemency for bad fantasy football picks. Maybe, hopefully. Here's the takeaway. For your audience, this is about more than just politics. It's about system trust. If the rule looks uneven, people will respond accordingly. For your content, this is ripe ground for nuanced commentary, not just good or bad, but what does this mean for the system that we all use? Final story coming up. BBC leadership shake-up when the newsroom becomes the story. Over in the UK, BBC News finds itself in a shaken waters. Top leadership, including the Director General Tim Davie and News CEO Deborah Trunis, have resigned under pressure amid accusations of serious and systemic editorial bias. What triggers this? A documentary by the BBC's Panorama program edited comments by Trump in a way that critics say misrepresented what he actually said. Additional criticism included how BBC's Arabic service covered Israel-Palestine and its coverage of transgender issues. Commentators take? Media analysts say this is a credibility crisis for the BBC as a legacy institution that prides itself of impartiality and systemic unbias as their significance. Some defenders argue the scale and complexity of modern media ecosystems mean no outlet is free-form bias. Accountability mechanism must evolve. Empathy? Newsrooms are staffed by people trying to navigate politics, commercial pressure, audience fragmentation. This moment is a human upheaval for employees, not just a headline. And here are different takes. Critical media watchers. It's about time someone from inside acknowledged the fault lines in legacy media. Institution defenders, we should see this as a wake-up call, not wholesale collapse of journalism. Neutral observers, well, the resignation means serious governance issues. How they respond next will matter more than the resignations themselves. Here's Satirical Ali. Breaking. News outlet accused of biased editing resigns its bosses. In other news, water is still wet. What it means? For your audience and your content, whether you're in the US, UK, or anywhere, trust in institutions, media, governments, it's under pressure. That opens space for creators-led media, hello Emmy Studios, and for you to comment on how those changes affect all of us. All right, let's wrap up. The wrap up in here is simply this. We walked through 4 major stories. A historic government shutdown, a president in the stands sweeping pardons, and a media giant in turbulence. Here are the key lines to watch going forward. Will the funding bill clear both chambers and a real end to the shutdown happen? Or is it just a pause? Will the stadium cameo trend continues and what it actually means for how politics bleed into culture? Will the pardon shift how future elections related prosecution happen and how the public perceives justice? Will the BBC and other legacy media institutions reform in meaningful ways, or will trust further erode in favor of independent creator platforms like ours? For you, well, the viewers and the creators keep asking the questions. Stay curious, stay skeptical. Remember, behind the headlines are real people, real homes, real jobs, real trust being built or lost. I'm Ali Mehdaoui. This is What's New with ME. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay informed, stay human, and I'll see you soon.
In a world of digital noise, your brand deserves a command center. Welcome to ME Studios, where your vision doesn't just get captured, it gets amplified. This isn't just another production space. This is your complete media powerhouse. Our multi-unit facility in New Jersey is engineered for brands that refuse to be overlooked. We transform your voice into professional podcasts streaming on Spotify, Amazon Music, and beyond. Your stories become headlines across 300+ media outlets, including Fox, ABC. Behind every viral moment is strategy. Our content creation and SEO campaigns don't just chase trends, they create them. From concept to distribution, we build the digital presence others envy. Your brand, your voice, your time to dominate. Visit the mestudios.net and turn potential into impact.